What's up, everybody? I'm Greg Goldner alongside my eco-mean green machine, Colette Brooks.
I'll take it. Thank you.
I like this ensemble you have
Oh,
on.
yes. Thank you. It's very eco and
I
recycled.
bet we're going to find out about it. Anyways, we're going to bring you all the eco headlines from the U.S. and around the globe.
Well, and speaking of around the globe and around my waist, it's fashion, eco fashion. We're going to go into the green room and talk to Hannah Hart now, who is changing the fashion game in an eco way.
Game changer. So typically in this segment, we like to say the grass is getting greener, but right now with everything going on and a couple of headlines I'd like to discuss, the question is the grass getting greener? And so
Not so green.
No, let's kick it right off. The flooding in Colorado, unless you've been living under a rock, and maybe if you were under a rock, you'd still even know about this because it's flooding.
Right, exactly.
Shouldn't make light of it. But anyway, I shouldn't do that. If flooding in Colorado is leading to oil spills, we've got some video and some pictures for you to check out. It's been one of the biggest headlines recently. Complete devastation to homes and businesses. How does something like flooding affect the environment?
Well, before there was oil drilling, it affected the environment in that it uprooted people. It goes beyond people now. I mean, we're looking at entire ecosystems that have been unhinged because of the flooding, but because of the oil drilling. So we're looking at, and is the oil drilling and the production of oil affecting climate change, which is causing the flooding? So it seems very cyclical to me.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned oil because right now they are estimating 14 legitimate oil spills because of this flooding. Over $2 billion in damage between the oil and the flooding. So what happens now? How do we make things right?
Well,
How do they make things right? And we as a country join together to do what we can.
Yeah, well, of course, stop oil production would be the answer because it is kind of chicken or egg.
Right.
What comes first or what precipitates the other? So it is no good comes out of oil drilling. I mean, you are disrupting the ecosystems in which we live, which impacts not only us environmentally but economically as well.
So moving on, Fukushima, the nuclear plant, it's a plant in an area that's on the Pacific side of Japan. After a 9.0 earthquake, it led to tsunami March 2011. The largest nuclear meltdown since 1986 in Chernobyl. This is bad for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, for us, it's now leaking into the Pacific. We get a lot of, not just because we're here in California, but as a nation, a lot of our food from the ocean comes from the Pacific. What does this mean?
Well,
make sense of this for me
because
it's
The ocean is sort of like, I mean, you're too young to remember this, but there was a time where you could smoke on airplanes, and there was the smoking section and the non-smoking section, as if the smoke knew not to travel beyond aisle 15.
I think I saw it in a movie once.
Yeah, exactly. Or or in bars or restaurants.
Sure.
So the ocean is the exact same thing. The currents move, and you will find fallout. Or environmental trauma that may have happened on the Pacific side of Japan, all the way to Hawaii, all the way to California. So it moves and it migrates, so it taints everything. The fish we eat, the ecosystems, coral reefs, etc.
All right, well,
yeah,
bad
news.
Quick question, yes or no. Would you let somebody you know eat out of the Pacific right now?
No.
All right. Clean technology is becoming a very loose term. So 10 years ago, VC, venture capitalist firms, and all kinds of financial institutions were investing into clean technology, solar, wind. They were saying this is the way to go, this is the way we do it. Now they're realizing those investments aren't paying off how they liked, so they're going back to kind of where they were before when the oil drilling and the drilling for fossil fuels, but saying we're going to do it in a cleaner way. Is this kind of a cop-out?
It's kind of greenwashing. And doing something bad in a cleaner way or doing something detrimental to the environment in a cleaner way isn't really doing anything eco-friendly. So it seems like greenwashing to me. I understand that they need to get their investment back,
Right.
but if they go into their investments with a triple bottom line mentality, meaning yes, we need to get our investment back, so it's profitability, but it's also how does it affect people and how does it affect the planet? So it's the 3 Ps.
Well, I'll tell you somebody who is affecting the planet in a great way and killing it in the fashion game at the same time. Coming up next, Hannah Hartnell, local fashion designer to the stars, right here in studio.
Love her.
Hey, slow down.
Right next to the library on 7th Street is the Santa Monica History Museum, where history comes to life for the entire family. Enjoy the exhibits, main gallery, the photo archive, research gallery, and much more. Come visit the Santa Monica History Museum, keeping history alive.
We are welcoming inside the green room a design eco legend, a design legend, and a local Santa Monica designer. Hannah Hartnell, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. My
So
pleasure
happy
to
to
be
have
here.
you here,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Well, this is truly a treat. I mean, you and I, we've known each other a while. I did an interview with you a long time
Yes.
ago. You were doing eco when probably eco wasn't as trendy and fashionable as it is now.
That's true.
And you're still doing it. Why?
Well, at heart, I'm a country girl. I was born and raised in Ohio, and I'm very close to nature. I love it. I go up to Topanga 3 times a week and run in the hills with my dog, and I like glamour, so I bring that practicality and honoring the earth as well as the glamour and put them together.
Which is so fantastic, because just because we're green doesn't mean we're crunchy. I mean, we like to get our glamour on.
Well, and let me ask you this. I mean, what makes something eco? What makes something green? So when you're designing a dress, are you having to think about materials or the way it's created, the way it's dyed? I mean, how do you create green products?
Well, I love silk because it has a luster rather than a shine, and it's a very sustainable fabric. It's been around for 3,000 years, so there's that aspect of it. And the gowns that I'm working on now have a special feature that makes them very reusable that we'll get into, but and practical.
Interesting.
The reusable thing
Yes.
interests me.
All right.
Show us.
What do you got? Show us
Yeah.
something reusable.
Okay, I'll do that.
I mean,
All
it's
right.
it's so interesting because I mean, when you're talking about actresses whom you've dressed, what Streisand?
Well, the glamour
Gwyneth
is
Paltrow.
here.
Yeah.
I mean,
And yet it's going to be practical, as you'll see in just a moment, because this, believe it or not, is one of my bridal gowns. And after the wedding, the bride just
Wait, you're doing the after the wedding part. This is
nips in.
This is
Whoa.
PG. Oh, it's
not
reverses
that
around.
after.
Not that.
Whoops, lost a strap.
Now that's after the wedding.
Now, do you need this strap?
I think she'd rather have that.
You might need a strap. Put the strap right there for you.
Thanks.
So this is so interesting because now celebrities who, of course, are notorious for only wearing things once in
that's
the
right.
public eye, can wear this actually twice.
Can wear the same dress.
And it doesn't look like the same dress, but it's still this fabulous cut that they've no doubt had fitted just for their bodies.
Yes, everything is made to measure in our studio. So, they come in, and I have over 100 colors, so they can choose the color that they like. Let me just turn this around this way.
Gorgeous.
All right, so I gotta let the women do the talking right now.
Well-
Talk about what you're seeing, because
Well,
yeah.
first of all, Siren Red is such a fabulous color. And to go for, I mean, I had no idea that under the eggshell you had red.
Right.
This is brilliant.
So so you could either have a very exciting reception dress, or wear this to someone else's shindig.
It's fantastic. So that's really, I mean, talk about eco-chic and
thank you.
And glamorous. It's wonderful. So is silk the only material that you work with? Do you work with
Yes,
any-
silk comes in everything from chiffon, floaty and soft,
Yes.
to taffeta, which is crunchy.
Yes, I think
still-
I've got everything on this dress. Silk, taffeta, everything.
So
yeah.
because silk is so flexible
And versatile.
and I work with a dye firm in South Korea where everything is all the water is collected at the end of the day and recycled. The dye is not put out into the local waters, so I feel good about that aspect of it.
Oh, so you're in control of the process, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Because that's what we look at. We look at this closed loop solution.
Right.
Water usage, resource usage, what happens to the dress, after it's worn
Exactly.
as well. So
Well, and the other thing, because the dresses have a train, they can bring it back. I can cut that off. They can, make it into a cocktail dress.
So you can alter the dress once you buy a dress like this.
Absolutely.
You can alter the dress to
It
make
can
it
then
into
become a
mini
dinner
more-
dress.
That's amazing. And I have to tell you, from a guy's perspective, when we think of maybe eco clothing, especially like eco gowns or dresses,
Right.
we were probably like, it's not really. It's mayo. It's nice, but like this is sexy. I'll say it. This is
Sexy.
hot.
Yeah.
This is a
Sexy.
good-looking, sexy dress.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really comfortable.
Oh,
Probably feels amazing.
it is.
on.
It's just, it's very.
Hannah, I'll be there soon.
I'll
I'll
see
be at
you.
your
Be
store
my
soon.
pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
And tell me, I mean, you said you grew up on a farm, and that kind of was the inspiration for you. But you've continued this lifestyle for your work and your home, haven't you?
Right. I have a 6,000 square foot studio where I live and work.
So the commute is not much.
No,
Which is great.
What, the traffic in the morning is just around the dog.
that's right. Yes. So I have to have the dog in there. But it's laid out so that like all the cutting tables are under the skylights. My bed is under a skylight. And if I wake up early in the morning, which I always do, I watch the seagulls go over and the sun come up and they're golden underneath as they fly over. I'm just, I'm in the middle of Santa Monica, but I still have these wonderful touches of nature around me. I have
Sounds
two
fantastic.
18-foot trees in the studio.
Oh, wow.
That's right. I have a feeling you're going to be setting up an appointment just to hang
Yeah,
out.
absolutely. Well, and maybe get a dress or two. Fantastic.
Well, you are truly an inspiration to
Thank you.
everybody, especially those who are designing, eco-designing fashion. Hannah Hart, thank you so much for
My
joining
pleasure.
us.
Thank
It's
you.
truly a pleasure.
Thank you.
Guys, when we come back from this break, we're going green. Even more.
Welcome to our home away from home.
Action!
When I came here, I discovered I could write.
I found the confidence to share my poetry, and now they're songs.
I got away from the trouble in my neighborhood.
Come check us out.
At the Pico Youth and Family Center.
Join us.
Or volunteer. Together, we can change our world.
That's a wrap.
So a segment that we love to talk about here is going green. This is when we talk about a company, a product, a brand, anything that's making a step in the green direction, whether it's small or big. So Shell, known for their oil.
Big.
Yeah,
big oil.
has had oil spills, not green. But since 1982, Shell's had a presence in Colorado where they were drilling for oil, and then they were drilling shale rock and melting it into liquid, obviously not green. Well, they've decided to nix that all together, take this operation to Louisiana, and they're putting together a $12.5 billion project in the Gulf Coast that will turn natural gas into diesel, jet fuel, and other liquids.
Interesting.
Thoughts?
Yeah, interesting. The Gulf, and particularly Louisiana, is very, very vulnerable. Of course, there was already a catastrophic oil spill, which is still leaking. So to move anything there that has to do with oil production or even natural gas converted to diesel, I'm not sure what the ramifications are in terms of the environmental sensitivity. The good news is that they're creating jobs, well-paying jobs, so that's a plus.
And yeah, based off the research, they're going to create about 740 full-time jobs that are going to have salaries over $100,000, and they're going to have nearly 4,000 contracted workers. So for the community sense, that's a great thing.
Unless the environmental impact is such that it might threaten what's already a vulnerable place.
But isn't this a good thing though that they're going towards natural gas, and they're going to be utilizing that?
Yes, that they're using the natural gas resource again though to make diesel.
Yeah. All right, understood.
So we'll see.
All right, so it's still up in the air.
Still up in
We'll
the
have to
air.
get back to it.
Yeah.
Caught green-handed. This is cool, and we like to talk about this because this is always somebody doing something super green. And it's usually on more of a personal level. So the DIY movement, the do-it-yourself, there's a DIY network, for God's sakes. So it's a big deal now. But the DIY movement is now really dipped into the eco world, into the green world, where people are recycling and making furniture out of everything, making accessories out of everything. In my apartment now, I have a coffee table made from a old pallet wood. There's mason jars that are now drinks, and these are all recycled.
Exactly.
Why is this so cool now?
Well,
You like how I'm just hyping up my apartment, by the way?
I love it. Well,
Showing my apartment love left and right.
absolutely. Well, two can play. Of course, my bed's made out of an old barn.
All right, you win.
Sheep not included. Anyway, the DIY movement has been doing this forever. They are the originators of repurposing and making new stuff out of old stuff. And so it's, I think, recently come under the green banner, but these guys have been doing it forever. So it's great that they're getting props now that they're so green, but they were green before green was green.
Right.
So it is, there is, I mean, anybody can do it. That's the beauty of it. So instead of going and buying something brand new, chances are you and everybody else has old jars, old constructed boxes,
Right.
old materials that they can turn into something else without a lot of fuss.
Well, and truthfully, it was amazing. I was at a wedding, as you know, over the weekend, and the drinks were these recycled mason jars. The tables were made from recycled barn wood. And this was a beautiful, elegant wedding, so they weren't compromising anything by going this route.
And did they make it a point to let people know that all these things were reused?
You know, they didn't, but just as someone who does this with you for a living, I knew what it was.
Interesting.
But I think it's kind of become the norm now to see this kind of stuff and not to say, hey, look at me, look at my eco-ness.
Exactly.
Or my recycled ways.
Yeah.
But they're doing it.
You could also go to places like Crate and Barrel or any online retailer and see these sort of DIY suggestions. Buy this, and then it becomes something else.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite item you have in your house that is recycled of sorts?
Oh, I know. I have outdoor chairs that are made from old wine barrels.
Ooh, that is cool.
Yeah, you can still suck on the wood and get a little.
I need to step up my eco game then. All right. Point Colette. All right, so coming up next, we are going to let you do what you do best. Going to let you go on a rant with You Don't Know Green. And
I got a big one.
It's a big one. That's all I'm going to say. All right, check back in with us in a second.
Hey, Mom. Yes, I'm home. Saved you some dinner.
Plan now for a major earthquake. Contact the Santa Monica Office of Emergency Management. Don't be caught in the dark.
You don't know green. I'm not saying you personally don't, but this is this segment where Colette gets to rant because she's our eco expert. One word, fracking, go.
It makes me so fracking mad, I can't even tell you. I'm so incensed by it. Fracking is a process by which water is pumped into the earth a couple miles deep to loosen up hardened oil, if you will. So it at the end of the day becomes oil once the water gets injected in there, and then they can drill it out. What they're doing is they're going to poor farmers and poor landowners in the middle of the country, most of them, who have difficulty making ends meet, and basically paying them off to use their land. And they're paying them, chump change, to use their land in order to extract this oil.
Okay, what? Honestly, I'll play, dumb here. What's the problem? You said it's a couple miles deep.
Environmental catastrophe.
How so?
it taints the water table. People are getting sick. They're developing cancer. These farmers, of course, look at this like, oh, I can get $25,000 or $50,000, and then they're out. So the entire communities are becoming polluted, and people are getting sick, seriously sick. So, and it's all at the, and the oil companies are getting rich.
Okay, so what do we do?
Well, there was a movie about it, was there not?
Matt Damon had a movie called Promised Land. There was other movies out there. I mean, there's Hollywood celebrities stepping up to do their part.
Exactly.
But what do we do as not Matt Damons or Hollywood celebrities?
The radical answer would be don't use oil. Find other means of transportation. And I know that that's radical, but whether it's an electric vehicle or your bicycle or mass transit or even a hybrid, if you can reduce your oil consumption and reduce the demand, reduce the need, then they'll have to reduce the production. So that's how to change that game.
Let's do it.
Or just speak out. Write your congressman, write your senator. Be part of the activist movement that says, no fracking way.
Well, you've heard it here. We've now put fracking on blast. Let's do something about it. That's the end of the show. That's a wrap, as they say in Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood. Well, or Santa Monica.
Or here in Santa Monica. Favorite part of the show, what do you got?
Hannah Hart now.
She is a stud.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I thought she was great, but I'm going to say my favorite part of the show. Basically, every favorite part is when you rant, because you're so passionate about it. All right, that's it. No fracking.
And I used the F-bomb.
Fracking, you did. I'm Greg Goldner.
Colette Brooks.
We're out.
See ya.